Today we're going to make a shrimp red curry, but the first thing I want to do is make some jasmine rice. Normally I don't recommend making rice over the stovetop, but I'm going to show you a really quick, simple way to do that. So we have a pot here with a lid, and I have my jasmine rice. We need to rinse this, and the ratio for making jasmine rice is going to be 1 part rice to 1.5 parts water. So I'm just going to measure out 2 cups of rice here. Then I'm going to head over to the sink to rinse it off. So the rice, now that I rinsed it really well, what you want to do is bring it to a boil. The minute it boils, you want to turn it down to a simmer so that you don't overcook the rice, and also there's enough water in there to finish cooking the rice all the way through. Notice I didn't add any salt and pepper or any oil to it either. In Asian cuisine, rice, white rice, is designed to be a palate cleanser because we have a really strong, thick sauce here, so we want that to kind of be bland. So now what I'm going to do is take a look here. It's already boiling. So once it's boiling, I'm just going to cover it slightly. I want to leave a little space so that it can evaporate some of that water, and then I'll turn that down to about medium so it can just simmer real lightly. Now let's jump right into the dish. This part is really quick and easy. I'm just going to take a red bell pepper. Here's a secret to cutting the bell pepper. Slice off the top, slice off the bottom, bring this down all the way to the board. Your knife is parallel, and then you just open this up, and this way you don't get seeds all over the place, and this whole part is garbage. We don't need that. And then we just have the usable piece of the actual bell pepper. This part here we use, and the stem pops out. Key thing is everything should be about the same size. So you notice all those are about medium, so we set that off there. Then we take our bok choy, and then with this I'm just going to cut it right across, just like that. Now I have some garlic. I'm just going to take my garlic and slice this nice and thin. And now we're ready to start cooking. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get my pan. It's cold right now, so for the home cook, what I recommend is putting a little canola oil in here at first. I'm gonna put just a touch of sesame oil. A little bit goes a long way, just for a little added flavor, literally a touch, just like that. Not a lot. And then I'm gonna turn this bad boy up to high. And we're gonna wait for this just to barely smoke. Once it barely smokes, I'm gonna throw all my vegetables in there, but I like mine kind of spicy. So what I'm gonna use here is some red chilies. These are chili arbol. You can find them at most grocery stores, usually in the Latin section, the Mexican aisle, where they have all the dried chilies. In Asian grocery stores, they also have them as well. So these here are red chilies, and I'm gonna add that in the beginning too, just to toast it. But be really careful because it'll fill up your house and you're gonna start to cough. So be really careful with that. So now this here, you can see it's beginning to smoke right around the outsides there. So what I'm gonna do is throw my chilies in there just to get those toasting, and then all my vegetables too. All that's gonna saute. And then next, I'm gonna add our coconut milk. Our coconut milk and our red curry paste. These are the 2 base ingredients here. So I have some coconut milk, some red curry. We throw this all in there at the same time. So my coconut milk is gonna be nice and thick. Toss that in there. And then some red curry. And the red curry is really up to you. It depends on, how much spice you want in this, as well as flavor from the curry paste. So I like to add a couple tablespoons here to 1 can just to start, to see where it's at, and then I can always add a little bit more later. So I'm just gonna mix this around as it's coming up to a boil here. And you'll notice I didn't saute my veggies for too long there. I want my vegetables still a little bit al dente, so to speak. I want a little bit of a bite. So this here is gonna cook together. If I saute my vegetables too much, my vegetables are gonna end up soggy, okay? So while that's reducing down, let's take a look at our rice. Let's turn this down a bit. I can see it's kind of boiling over here. So what I want to do is, if it kind of lumps up in certain areas here, just kind of come through this and make sure it stays one nice even level. You don't want to cook this too fast, because if you cook your rice too fast, what happens is your rice will be hard and you won't have any water in here. So I just turn the heat down a little bit. I'm going to leave that slightly open so a little bit of that air can come out. And then now our curry is coming to a boil. Ooh, that smells really good. I haven't added my shrimp yet because I don't want to overcook my shrimp. So I'll let this reduce down, let this cook for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and check for seasoning, and we're gonna taste this. And the way we're gonna season it is with a little bit of fish sauce, which adds saltiness, as well as soy sauce. So what we're gonna do now is finish this dish off. We have our shrimp that we're gonna add in here, and I add it at the end because I don't wanna overcook my shrimp. The mistake a lot of people make is they add the shrimp way too early, and then what happens is the shrimp gets really hard and rubbery. So what I'm gonna do here is add this right at the end, and it should really only be in there for about a minute. So what I'm gonna do here is add just a couple little droplets of it, like that, okay? That's gonna add a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of saltiness here, and then I'm also gonna add some soy sauce. And again, this is to taste. So what you wanna do is make sure that you add a little bit and you come back to it. If you think it needs more salt, add soy sauce, right? If you want to use regular salt and pepper, you can. And then what we're gonna do is just mix this up. You can see how the shrimp is already cooking here, right? See how that shrimp in there is already cooking? So that only takes about a minute. Now we're gonna plate up our rice. The rice is absolutely perfect here. I turn this down. It's nice and fluffy, nice and light, okay? Again, remember, rice is a palate cleanser, so you don't wanna add any salt and pepper to that. I'm gonna add a little rice in my bowl, like that. So we have the rice right in the middle. And then our sauce here, our red curry is completely finished. So we're gonna take our shrimp and we'll lay this right on top. Turn the heat off, and you can see just the beautiful color in this. We'll lay this right on top of the rice with our shrimp. Let me get some of those chilies in there too. Ooh, I cannot wait to try this out. So we have our shrimp, and you can see how quickly that shrimp cooked, right? It was maybe a minute. You want to add it right at the end, because if you don't, what happens with that shrimp, it gets rubbery and hard, and you don't want that. So we add some of that sauce. And then last, I like to garnish mine with some fresh cilantro that we cleaned up here, right on top. Look at that beautiful color. Now I'm ready to eat. I'll see you guys next time.